From a small village in Norway to the spiritual home of football, this is the insane rise of Martin Ødegaard, captain and leader at Arsenal.
Again, good pressing by Arsenal. Ødegaard might fancy his chances. Oh, what a strike by Ødegaard!
From his childhood, he was an expert puppet master. In fact, he was so good that he was playing in competitions with kids that were way older than him and pulling their strings. After 4 years with amateur club Drammen Strong, Strømgodset, the biggest club in his small village of less than 5,000 people, picked him up. And that was where the world found out about the talent that is Martin Ødegaard. Real Madrid, Arsenal, Manchester United, Barcelona, AFC Ajax Amsterdam, PSG, Chelsea. Strømgodset dealt with calls, scouts and agents for 5 whole years because of Martin Ødegaard. Eventually, they gave in and Real Madrid's bid was the winning bid. Ødegaard went from local homegrown talent to a potential Ballon d'Or winner immediately because of that signing, and Norwegians began to dream of the day they would take Europe by storm with Ødegaard leading the charge. And even Cristiano Ronaldo was happy. And Real Madrid fans? They were dreaming. Real Madrid is the most successful club in Europe and one of the most successful in all of football. They attracted stars, Galacticos who brought in money, prestige and trophies. But at that time they had a big problem. Barcelona. Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Messi. These men were running riot in Spain wearing the Blaugrana and making Real Madrid look like kids. Their finesse in the middle of the park for Barcelona was second to none, and there was nobody who could hold a candle to these men as midfielders. When they signed Martin Ødegaard, whose playing style was so similar to Xavi's at the time, they dreamed a dream. In time, we will have our own Xavi, and we will shut Barcelona down, they thought. And so, they groomed him. Special trainings, media pampering, game time on the biggest stages. Real Madrid did everything they could for Martin Ødegaard to succeed. But there was a problem. He was still too young, and he could not handle the jump from a small village to a big stage immediately. And then Real Madrid did the one thing that clubs did to their promising talents. They sent him on loan. First, it was the Dutch Eredivisie, the league where talents are born, bred and prepared for the biggest leagues. It was Heerenveen in 2017 where he quickly hit the ground running. Martin Ødegaard did not miss a single game for the club in the year he spent with them, and Real Madrid were excited that their investment was really going to pay off. But still, they felt he needed some more experience, and being the big club that they were, they could not give it to him. Another loan followed, this time to Vitesse Arnhem, again in the Eredivisie. And like at Heerenveen the season before, Martin Ødegaard enjoyed enough game time and was even better than he was at Heerenveen with Vitesse. His eventual return to Spain broke their hearts, but they could not afford to keep him because Real Madrid were not ready to let him go. But they still couldn't find a space for him in the side, only that this time it was not due to his lack of talent or big game experience. It was because they had found their own Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets. Modric, Casemiro, Kroos. These men were nowhere near Barcelona's famed trio in actual talent, but they were scary to play against. Casemiro's hard tackling, Kroos's passing range and set-piece capabilities, Modric's box-to-box ability and shooting, these weapons made Real Madrid's trio super effective, and there was no way Martin Ødegaard was going to break them up. And so, they sent him out on another loan. This time, they wanted to see what he could do in Spain, so we went to Real Sociedad in 2019. La Real fans were pleasantly surprised by his talent, and Real Madrid's leaders were happy. In fact, Martin Ødegaard was so good with the Basque club that Real Madrid considered cutting his loan spell short and bringing him straight into their starting 11. They were even happier when he pulled the strings to lead Real Sociedad to the Copa del Rey title that season. They had another world beater for their ranks. But when he got back to Real Madrid, nothing changed. He spent 6 months doing nothing but training. He couldn't even get minutes in the Copa del Rey. At the time, he was already pulling strings for Norway and was already their national team captain, the youngest in their history. That's how much talent Martin Ødegaard has. Still, Madrid couldn't find a way to fit him into the team which Modric, Kroos and Casemiro had made their own. And then, Arsenal came calling. Back in 2019, Arsenal brought in Dani Ceballos on loan from Real Madrid, and he was very good for them. He even won the FA Cup with them. But Real Madrid were asking for too much by Arsenal's penny-pinching standards, and they let him go. Then they asked for Martin Ødegaard, who was glad to find another team where he could enjoy football again. And enjoy it he did. In 6 months, he performed better than Ceballos did, and Arsenal knew they had to keep him. Real Madrid at this time had given up on trying to keep him, not because he wasn't good enough, but because they knew that he would spend his prime years playing elsewhere because they just couldn't find the space for him. 40 million euros later in 2021, Martin Ødegaard was a full gunner. But there was one problem. The pressure of a transfer meant that he had to prove he was worth the money paid for him. When a player goes on loan, they can afford to relax. This is not ideal though, but a loan player will not get as much stick as one who got transferred in for cold hard cash. A price tag of 40 million euros meant that Martin Ødegaard needed to prove his worth. And it took some time for him to show what he was capable of. But then...
Okay, good pressing by Arsenal. Ødegaard might fancy his chances. Oh! What a strike by Ødegaard!
Tierney squared in. Ødegaard first time! Takes a deflection. Martinelli! Pokes it home! And Arsenal have won it!
Now Arsenal fans will riot if his name is not in the starting lineup without an explanation. And when Arsenal needed a new captain for 2022 and beyond, the choice of the players and the staff was unanimous. Martin Ødegaard, the puppet master. The Gunners are now making a title charge for the first time in 20 years, and a certain Norwegian is at the heart of it. Goals, assists, leadership, and everything perfect from the heart of midfield. A rare gem he is. And just look at the elegant way he carries the responsibility on his shoulders. But he is not the only player to surprise Arsenal fans this season, because on Ødegaard's left-hand side, there is a young Brazilian that's destroying right-backs every week, and he's even been compared to the phenomenon Ronaldo. You've got to check out this one.